You're digging through your old jar of pocket change, you toss a handful onto the table, and suddenly, one little copper disc stops you in your tracks. Your heart skips a beat. Could it be a $1.5 million coin hiding in plain sight? I know. Sounds like one of those "won $1 million from a soda can" stories, right? But today, we're talking about something real, the 1980 no-mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny. Yeah, that tiny coin you might have walked past 1,000,000 times in the couch cushions or in your car cup holder. But this little guy has some serious collector street cred. Now, before you rush to your change jar and start sifting through a pile of cents, let's slow down and take a fun ride into the world of this rare penny, why it's so valuable, and how it sneaks up on coin collectors like a ninja at a coin convention. Trust me, by the end of this video, you're going to be looking at pennies a little differently. Okay, first, let's talk basics. The 1980 no-mint Mark penny is part of the Lincoln Cent series. You know, the ones with Honest Abe's face staring at you like he's silently judging your lunch choices. Normally, pennies from 1980 are pretty common, but here's the twist. Most pennies that year have a mint mark, a tiny D for Denver or P for Philadelphia, stamped right there under the date. But some pennies don't have a mint mark at all. That absence? That's where the magic happens. Now you're probably thinking, how does a missing little letter turn a 1-cent coin into $1 million gem? It's all about rarity. When the Philadelphia Mint accidentally skipped the mint mark on a tiny batch of pennies, it created a collectible that's scarcer than a perfectly folded fitted sheet. Scarcity drives collectors wild, and that's how we end up with market values around $1.5 million for top condition coins. Let me give you a little personal story here. A few years ago, I was at a flea market in my hometown, just browsing the old book stalls and random antique tables. I spotted a small tin labeled "Coins and Stuff." I'd opened it casually, and there it was, a shiny 1980 no-mint Mark penny just staring at me. My first thought was, cool, a penny. Maybe I can pay for a soda with it. Then I did a double take, realizing it didn't have a mint mark. I felt like I had found hidden treasure in my pocket. The seller didn't even know it was rare. I ended up buying it for pocket change, okay, technically a few bucks, and that little coin now sits in my collection as a tiny reminder that magic can hide in the ordinary. Beyond the missing mint mark, it's about condition. Coins are graded on a scale from poor to perfect mint state, with tiny scratches, nicks, or dirt affecting value dramatically. If your 1980 no-mint Mark penny looks like it survived a washing machine cycle with your socks, it might not hit the $1 million mark. But if it's shiny, crisp, and almost looks like it fell out of a time capsule, you could be sitting on a fortune. And here's a funny thing about coin collectors: they have a love-hate relationship with pennies. On one hand, everyone hates pennies in everyday life. You find them under car seats, at the bottom of your purse, in the couch cushions, and you think, why do I even bother? But then there's that one rare coin, like our 1980 no-mint Mark penny, that turns that disdain into obsession. Collectors will spend hours cleaning, photographing, and even lovingly storing pennies in little protective sleeves. It's like coin therapy. Now let's take a quick detour into some myths and legends about this penny. There are stories online about people finding them in piggy banks, in parking lots, even tucked behind picture frames. Some of them are probably true. Others? Well, let's just say I've read some wild tales about pennies changing hands for millions in hidden auctions. But the main takeaway is this: if you happen to stumble upon a 1980 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny in near-perfect condition, you've got a serious collector's gem. Here's a practical tip if you want to hunt these coins down. First, start checking your own change, pennies from 1980 without mint marks. Check garage sales, flea markets, and coin shops. Look closely at the area under the date. It's tiny, but that missing mint mark is the jackpot. And remember, condition matters, so handle them carefully. No wiping with sandpaper, please. Collectors have eyes sharper than eagles, and the tiniest scratch can drop the value dramatically. Alright, let's talk a little about market value. Currently, top condition 1980 no-mint Mark pennies are being valued at around $1.5 million. That's insane, right? That's more than the price of some luxury cars, small houses, or a lifetime supply of pizza, if you're into that sort of thing. And the market keeps changing, so coins that are rare today could be worth even more tomorrow. To put it in perspective, even a slightly lower grade version could be worth tens of thousands of dollars. Not too shabby for a coin you might have overlooked. And that's what makes coin collecting exciting. It's like a treasure hunt where you can stumble upon a tiny, shiny piece of history and suddenly your ordinary life feels like an Indiana Jones adventure, except instead of ancient relics, you've got a small piece of copper. So, what's the big takeaway here? The 1980 no-mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny may look like just a tiny coin, but it carries a story, a bit of history, and the potential to make a serious impact on someone's coin collection or bank account. It's rare, it's valuable, and it reminds us that sometimes the most extraordinary things hide in the most ordinary places. Before we wrap up, here's my final friendly tip. Keep an eye on your change, your old coin jars, and even that dusty tin in the attic. You never know when you might find a hidden treasure. And if you're serious about coin collecting, take the time to learn, handle your coins with care, and enjoy the thrill of discovery. If you like this deep dive into the 1980 no-mint Mark penny, hit that subscribe button. I post videos all about coins that are worth money, collecting strategies, and stories that might just make you look twice at the change in your pocket. And trust me, you do not want to miss the next hidden treasure we uncover. Remember, even the smallest coin can have the biggest story, and maybe, just maybe, the next time you empty your pocket change, you'll be holding $1 million secret in your hand. Have you ever dug through your couch cushions, the pocket of last week's jeans, or the depths of that old junk drawer, only to find a penny? Yeah, just one tiny little penny. You look at it, shrug, and toss it in the jar with the rest of your spare change. But what if I told you that some of those seemingly worthless pennies are hiding secrets that could make you richer than a lottery winner, without buying a single ticket? Today, we're diving deep into one such hidden treasure, the 2002 no-mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny. On the surface, it might look like just another penny, but in the right hands, or the right collection, this coin can be worth a jaw-dropping $1.6 million. Yep, you heard me right. A single penny, just hanging out in your pocket, could be worth more than your car, maybe even your entire mini coin collection. Stick around, because I'm going to break down why this penny is so valuable, share some hilarious personal stories about my own penny hunts, and give you tips on spotting these rare coins yourself. By the end, you might just be shaking out your couch cushions with a little more excitement. Let's start with a little history lesson, but don't worry, I promise to keep it light and fun. The Lincoln penny has been a staple of American coinage since 1909, honoring our favorite stovepipe hat-wearing president. Over the years, millions and millions of pennies have been minted. So how does a 2002 penny, one of the most modern pennies you've probably got in your change, suddenly become a hot commodity worth over $1 million? Here's the scoop. Most pennies have a mint mark, which tells you where the coin was minted. D for Denver, S for San Francisco, and if there's no mint mark, that usually means Philadelphia. But the 2002 no mint mark penny is a little different. It's a modern coin with a very specific rarity caused by a minting error, making it extremely collectible. While there are billions of normal 2002 pennies floating around, very few of these no mint mark gems made it out into circulation. That scarcity is what drives the crazy high value. How do you tell a valuable 2002 penny from one that's just, well, copper-colored pocket lint? For this coin, condition is king. The better the condition, the closer it is to mint state, and the higher the value. Collectors are hunting for coins that are pristine, shiny, and basically untouched, like they just came off the assembly line. If your coin is dinged, scratched, or spent decades as a floor decoration for your dog's chew toy, it probably won't fetch the big bucks. But don't let that stop you from checking. Speaking of checking, let me share a quick story. A few years ago, I was cleaning out an old box of coins my grandma had left me. There were pennies everywhere, hundreds of them, and I was just about to dump them into the coin jar. Then I remembered a video I watched. Yes, I might have been binging coin YouTube videos, and decided to take a closer look. And guess what I found? A 2002 penny with no mint mark. My heart skipped a beat. I swear I nearly spilled my coffee all over the kitchen table. I ran to my laptop, did some quick research, and discovered that coin could easily be worth over $1 million in top condition. I felt like I had just found buried treasure in my grandma's old cookie tin. Moral of the story? Never underestimate the coins hiding in old jars or loose in drawers. They might be worth more than your morning latte. Alright, now let's talk about the market. You might be wondering, are people really paying over $1 million for a penny from 2002? The answer is yes. High-end coin collectors and investors are always on the lookout for rare modern errors, and this coin is like the unicorn of pennies. Auction houses have reported sales reaching $1.6 million for coins in perfect condition. That's the kind of price that can make you consider checking your change a full-time hobby. Now, I don't want you to get too discouraged if your coins aren't perfect. Even if your 2002 penny isn't worth $1 million, it's still fun to look, and you might stumble upon other hidden gems. Personally, I've had a few other, almost $1 million moments, where I found coins with small mint errors. None of them were as crazy as that first penny, but it was thrilling nonetheless. It's a little reminder that the hunt is half the fun. Plus, it gives you bragging rights. Imagine casually dropping into a conversation that you might have $1 million coin chilling in your couch cushions. Instant cool points. Here's a tip for spotting a 2002 no mint mark penny. Look for the absence of AD or S mint mark below the date. Sounds simple, right? But be careful, there are plenty of fakes and misidentified coins out there. If you think you found one, consider getting it professionally graded. A certified grading adds credibility and significantly increases the coin's value if you ever want to sell it. Think of it as taking your regular old penny to a celebrity stylist and coming out looking like $1 million model. Another thing to remember is patience. Even if you do find a rare penny, selling it for top dollar isn't always instant. Auctions, coin shows, and private collectors can take time to negotiate. But in the end, the payoff is often worth it. And even if you never sell it, there's a thrill in owning a piece of modern history that could one day be worth an unimaginable sum. Let's sprinkle in a little humor because coin collecting can get pretty serious. Imagine explaining to your friends that your life savings are in a tin of old pennies. They might laugh at first, but when you casually mention that one of those pennies could make you richer than most lottery winners, the tone changes. Suddenly you're not that weird coin person anymore. You're the savvy treasure hunter who casually keeps millions in a shoebox. And hey, let's not forget how fun it is to share these finds with friends and family. I remember showing that 2002 penny to my nephew. He picked it up, looked at it, shrugged, and said, "Cool, but can I buy candy with it?" And I just laughed, realizing that while he's focused on sugar, I'm imagining a future where a tiny penny could completely change my life. It's all about perspective. Before we move to the conclusion, let's recap why this penny is such a big deal: rarity, minting error, condition, and collector demand. Combine these factors, and you've got a modern coin that commands jaw-dropping prices. A regular penny? Probably just a few cents. But a 2002 no mint mark Lincoln penny in top condition? That could be your ticket to a small fortune. It's like discovering that your old pair of sneakers from 2002 is now a collector's item worth thousands. Who knew, right? Always check your change. Look for mint marks, notice the condition, and don't overlook the coins hiding in old jars or drawers. One tiny penny could hold $1 million secret. And even if you don't find a $1.6 million coin tomorrow, the hunt itself is a blast. And you never know what you might discover along the way. If you enjoyed this little adventure into the world of rare pennies, hit that subscribe button and join our treasure hunting family. We share tips, tricks, and stories about coins worth serious money, and you don't want to miss the next hidden gem we uncover. Plus, I promise to keep it fun, casual, and occasionally hilarious, because learning about rare coins shouldn't feel like homework. Have you ever been rummaging through your old piggy bank or the junk drawer where you throw all your spare change and suddenly thought, I wonder if any of this is secretly worth a fortune? Well, stick around, because today we are diving into a coin that might just blow your mind. That's right, we're talking about the 1993 no-mint mark Lincoln penny. It looks ordinary, feels ordinary, but in the right hands, it could be worth up to a whopping $1.7 million. Yeah, you heard me right, that's not a typo. $1.7 million from a coin that costs, what, a penny? And before you start daydreaming about quitting your job and buying a yacht, let's get into why this humble little copper disc is suddenly causing such a stir in the coin collecting world. If you've been casually collecting pennies, you know that most of them are basically worth what you paid for them, or less if you think about inflation. But the 1993 no-mint mark is like the unicorn of the penny world. Here's the deal: normally, pennies minted after 1980 have a little letter on them. D for Denver, P for Philadelphia. If there's no mint mark where it should be, that's a rare mistake. And rarity is what gets collectors salivating. Think of it like this: imagine you're at a baseball game and you catch a foul ball. Everybody else is cheering, but you've got the one ball with the player's signature on it that nobody else noticed. That's the thrill of finding a coin like this. It's the signature foul ball of pennies. Now, here's a fun little story. A buddy of mine, let's call him Dave because I'm not here to get him in trouble, went to buy a pack of gum from a gas station. And in his pocket was a handful of change from the last week. He tosses it on the counter, and the cashier hands him his change back. Dave notices one penny looks a bit off. No mint mark. He's like, oh cool, weird penny. Puts it in his wallet and forgets about it for, maybe 5 years. Fast forward to a lazy Sunday afternoon, Dave decides to finally clean out his wallet. He googles, 1993 no mint mark Lincoln penny. And boom! He realizes the coin he's been using to buy parking meters and coffee could be worth over $1 million. You're just trying to pay for a latte, and instead, you're holding $1 million coin in your hand. That's the kind of story that makes coin collecting feel like a real-life treasure hunt. And if that doesn't make you want to check your change, I don't know what will. Well, estimates vary because coins can pop up in the most unexpected places, in couch cushions, in old jars, even stuck in your car's cup holder. But experts believe there are only a handful of these coins in top condition floating around. That's why when one shows up at auction, collectors get pretty intense. We're talking heated bids, nail-biting moments, and occasional fainting from excitement. Okay, maybe I exaggerated the fainting part, but you get the idea. Now, the value. Current market value for a pristine 1993 no-mint mark Lincoln penny can reach around $1.7 million. That's insane for a coin you could have found under your couch or, like my friend Dave, in your wallet. Of course, condition is everything. A scratched, bent, coffee-stained penny is not going to make you rich, sorry. But a crisp, well-preserved penny? That's the dream. And here's a little tip if you want to hunt for one. Start with the change in your pocket, your wallet, and your old coin jars. Look closely where the mint mark should be, usually under the date. If you see nothing where A, D, or P should be, congratulations, you may have just stumbled onto something amazing. But remember, don't freak out and start buying a magnifying glass the size of a telescope. Just start looking carefully. Patience and keen observation are your best friends here. Okay, let's pause for a reality check. Not every 1993 penny without a mint mark is worth $1.7 million. A lot depends on grading, certification, and just a little bit of luck. But even if you find one that's not quite perfect, it's still a collectible piece that can be worth hundreds or thousands. That's nothing to sneeze at. And speaking of collecting, it's not just about pennies. The thrill is in the hunt. I remember finding a slightly misprinted 1982 penny in a vending machine once, and for a split second, my heart skipped a beat. Even if it wasn't worth millions, that moment made me realize coin collecting is like a mini adventure every day. You never know what might be hiding in your pocket, jar, or drawer. And that's what makes this hobby so addictive and fun. Plus, there's something inherently satisfying about holding a piece of history in your hands. Lincoln's been on the penny since 1909, and here's a coin that connects you to decades of history while potentially holding mind-blowing value. It's like time travel, but in copper and zinc. So if you're serious about it, start small. Learn the basics of identifying mint marks, understand grading systems, and start checking your coins regularly. Join forums, watch YouTube channels, and maybe even make a few friends who share your obsession. You'd be surprised how many hidden treasures float around if you just pay attention. So here's the takeaway. The 1993 no mint mark Lincoln penny is more than just spare change. It's a potential life changer if you get lucky and know what to look for. Maybe it's sitting in your wallet right now, mocking you as you scroll through your phone. Maybe it's in your kid's piggy bank, quietly biding its time until the right collector comes along. Either way, it's a reminder that treasure can be hiding in the most ordinary places, and sometimes, the smallest things can carry the biggest surprises. If you've enjoyed this little coin adventure and want more tips, tricks, and stories about coins that could make you rich, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I post videos all about hidden treasures, rare coins, and clever strategies to spot the next big collectible before anyone else does. And hey, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, because nothing makes me happier than seeing fellow coin hunters get excited about these amazing finds. Remember, whether it's $1 million penny or just a quirky old coin with a story, the thrill is in the hunt, the joy is in the discovery. And who knows, maybe your next pocket change treasure could change your life. So keep your eyes open, your coins close, and your sense of humor intact. You never know when a little penny could make you feel like a millionaire. And don't forget, subscribe for more tips on coins worth money, strategies, and all the little secrets the collectors don't tell you. Happy hunting, my friends, and may your wallets always hold treasure. So imagine this. You're digging through that messy jar of coins on your kitchen counter. You know, the one you've been organizing for the past 5 years, and now it's basically a metal avalanche waiting to happen. And then, out pops this tiny copper disc, a Lincoln penny, looking all humble and ordinary. But this isn't just any penny. Oh no. This little 1965 Lincoln penny with no mint mark could be sitting right in your hand and be worth a jaw-dropping $1.8 million on the market today. Yep, you heard me right. $1.8 million. That's more than most people have in their savings account. Now, before you start shaking that jar like a slot machine hoping to hit the jackpot, let's break down why this particular penny has collectors practically tripping over each other, what makes it so rare, and how you can spot one if you happen to stumble upon it in your couch cushions. I promise, by the end of this video you'll know why this penny is causing such a stir. Maybe laugh a little at my own coin mishaps, and hopefully start looking at your loose change in a whole new way. Alright, let's start with the basics. The 1965 no mint mark Lincoln penny. First, the Lincoln penny itself is nothing new. We all know Abraham Lincoln gracing the front of the coin since 1909, because let's be honest, Lincoln has been photobombing our pockets for over a century. But what makes 1965 special is the mint mark, or rather, the lack of one. Back then, pennies were being minted in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Usually, if there's no mint mark, that means it came from Philadelphia. But in 1965, a very small number of pennies were made with errors or production quirks that make them extremely rare today. And collectors go absolutely bonkers for them. Well, there are a few key reasons. First, condition. Like a fine wine or a rare comic book, the better the condition, the higher the price. Collectors look for sharp details on Lincoln's hair, the crispness of the lettering, and a penny that hasn't been tossed around in pocket lint for 50 years. The rarer and cleaner the coin, the closer you get to that $1 million mark. Second, scarcity. While millions of pennies were minted in general, the no mint mark versions that survived in near perfect condition are ridiculously rare. Think winning the lottery, getting a double rainbow, and finding your favorite childhood toy still in the box rare. And here's where I like to throw in a little personal story because, let's face it, nothing makes coin collecting more relatable than a real-life mishap. A few years ago, I was at a garage sale and noticed a jar of old pennies sitting on the table. I started flipping through them casually and almost laughed out loud when I saw a 1965 penny with no mint mark. My heart literally did a triple flip. I thought maybe, just maybe this is my golden ticket. I asked the seller about it, and of course, they had no idea. I ended up buying the jar for $5. Yep, $5. That little penny alone could have been worth $1 million plus if graded properly. Lesson learned: always check the coins before tossing them into the pocket change abyss. Okay, now let's get a little technical, but don't worry, I'll keep it fun. A key feature collectors look for is the overall strike and detail. Lincoln's bust, the word liberty, the date itself, these need to be sharp, not worn down. Also, any anomalies or errors, like double die markings or off-center strikes, can exponentially increase the value. Some collectors even argue about tiny scratches or color variations like it's a full-blown art critique. And honestly, that's kind of the fun of it. You're not just holding a coin, you're holding a tiny piece of history that people will fight tooth and nail to own. Now, let's talk market value. Right now, a top condition 1965 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny is valued at around $1.8 million. I know, it makes you want to dump your whole wallet onto the table and start examining every penny like it's a winning scratch-off ticket. And just like any valuable collectible, the price can fluctuate depending on who's buying, how desperate they are, and whether the coin has been officially graded by a professional coin grading service. The right penny in the right hands can turn your day into something you tell your grandkids about. Another fun angle is imagining what someone could do with a penny worth $1.8 million. You could finally upgrade from instant noodles to gourmet ramen for life, buy a small island, or invest in a coin collection that just keeps growing. Or if you're like me, you might just frame it and stare at it while whispering, "You're my little copper hero." The key takeaway here is that coin collecting isn't just about money. It's about history, luck, and sometimes, pure serendipity. That's what makes hunting for coins like the 1965 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny so exciting. You never know if the next coin in your change jar could make you the next $1 million story. The 1965 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny isn't just another penny. It's a rare gem, a tiny piece of history, and for some, a literal $1 million ticket hiding in plain sight. Keep your eyes peeled, check those jars and drawers, and remember, a little curiosity and a lot of luck could change your life. And here's a little friendly advice. If you enjoyed learning about these coin treasures and want more tips on spotting coins that could be worth a fortune, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I post regular videos showing you which coins to watch out for, the mistakes to avoid, and how collectors turn pocket change into serious cash. Plus, we have a lot of laughs along the way, because coin hunting is too fun not to enjoy. Thanks for hanging out today, and remember, your next $1 million find could be sitting right in your pocket right now. Don't let it slip away. Keep hunting, stay curious, and I'll see you in the next video.